held a press conference after Combs was arrested, and he described the rapper and producer as essentially at the top of this criminal ladder.
A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City.
Including, by the way, charges as complex as this, and especially when you have so much digital and physical evidence to review. We're talking terabytes of information.
Mary J. Blige just dropped a bombshell that shook the music industry to its core. After years of speculation, she finally confirmed what many had long suspected about her relationship with Diddy. The queen of hip-hop soul revealed the dark truth behind her early career, exposing a web of lies, manipulation, and betrayal that threatened to destroy her. In a shocking interview, Blige laid bare the extent of Diddy's control over her life and career. She described how he positioned himself as her everything: manager, producer, boyfriend, and mentor, only to exploit her talents for his own gain. As Blige's story unfolds, we'll uncover the pivotal moment that led her to break free from Diddy's toxic grip despite threats to ruin her career. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to our channel. It makes such a huge difference to us. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. It was a fateful night in 1989 when Mary J. Blige's raw talent caught the eye of an up-and-coming producer named Sean Puffy Combs, better known as Diddy. Mary, just 18 years old, was belting out an Anita Baker song at a local karaoke night when Diddy heard her powerful voice.
Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity.
I have said from the very beginning, there is no way he's going to take a plea deal. No way. Why do I say that?
A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City.
He knew instantly he'd discovered a diamond in the rough. Mary's journey to that moment hadn't been easy. Growing up in the Showdown housing projects of Yonkers, New York, she faced poverty, abuse, and addiction from an early age. Music became her escape and her passion, but breaking into the industry seemed like an impossible dream for a girl from the projects. Diddy saw Mary's potential and made her an offer that seemed too good to be true. He promised to make her a star, to give her the life she'd always dreamed of. For Mary, it was a lifeline she couldn't refuse. Little did she know the true cost of Diddy's promise. Under Diddy's guidance, Mary's career took off like a rocket. Her debut album, What's the 411, dropped in 1992 and revolutionized the music scene. Mary's unique blend of hip-hop beats and soulful vocals created a new genre, hip-hop soul. The album went multi-platinum, with hits like Real Love and You Remind Me dominating the charts. Diddy's production style was all over Mary's early work. He pushed her to blend her raw emotional vocals with street-smart lyrics and hard-hitting beats. The result was magic, but it came at a price. Diddy's influence extended far beyond the studio, shaping every aspect of Mary's image and sound. The pressure on Mary intensified with the release of her sophomore album, My Life, in 1994. The album was a massive success, cementing her status as the queen of hip-hop soul. But behind the scenes, Mary was struggling. The expectations to maintain her image and success were crushing. As Mary's star continued to rise, so did Diddy's control over her career. He was more than just her producer. He became her manager, mentor, and romantic partner. Mary found herself trapped in a gilded cage, her every move dictated by Diddy's vision for her career.
Held a press conference after Combs was arrested, and he described the rapper and producer as essentially at the top of this criminal ladder. Once we learned about the federal charges facing Sean Diddy Combs when he was arrested and indicted last month,
while fans were busy dancing to Mary's hits, a sinister story was unfolding behind the scenes. How did the queen of hip-hop soul find herself trapped in a gilded cage of her own success? The answer involves a toxic mix of power, exploitation, and a desperate struggle for independence that would push Mary to her breaking point. As Mary's fame skyrocketed, the pressure to maintain her image and success became overwhelming. Diddy's influence extended far beyond the recording studio, seeping into every aspect of Mary's life. He positioned himself as her everything: manager, producer, boyfriend, and mentor. But this all-encompassing relationship came at a steep price. Behind closed doors, Diddy's manipulative tactics and emotional exploitation began to take their toll. Mary found herself caught in a web of control. Her every move dictated by Diddy's vision for her career. The once promising partnership had morphed into a suffocating cage, leaving Mary feeling trapped and isolated. The strain of this toxic dynamic manifested in Mary's personal life. She battled substance abuse issues, using drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism for the immense pressure she faced. This struggle was compounded by a series of abusive relationships, further eroding Mary's sense of self-worth and independence. In interviews, Mary has spoken candidly about this dark period in her life. She described feeling lost and disconnected from her own identity, as if she were merely a puppet in Diddy's grand plan. The isolation was crushing, leaving Mary to grapple with her demons largely alone. As the years wore on, Mary's desire for independence began to grow. She started to question Diddy's motives and business practices, realizing that their relationship was far from the supportive partnership she had initially believed it to be. The cracks in their facade were beginning to show, and Mary yearned for a way out. But breaking free from Diddy's influence would prove to be no easy task. He had woven himself so tightly into the fabric of Mary's career that the thought of striking out on her own seemed almost impossible. Diddy's threats loomed large, with warnings that he could ruin her career and life if she dared to leave him. Despite these challenges, Mary's resilience began to shine through. She started to seek spiritual and therapeutic healing, taking the first steps towards reclaiming her life and career. The queen of hip-hop soul was slowly but surely finding her own voice again. The year was 1998, and Mary J. Blige stood at a crossroads. A shocking revelation about Diddy was about to turn her world upside down, forcing her to confront a painful truth. Sometimes those closest to us can be our greatest oppressors. How would Mary find the strength to break free? The bombshell dropped like a ton of bricks. Diddy had fathered a child with another woman. For Mary, this wasn't just another celebrity scandal. It was the moment the scales fell from her eyes, revealing the full extent of Diddy's deception and manipulation. The man who had positioned himself as her everything, her producer, manager, mentor, and lover, had been leading a double life all along. Mary's world crumbled around her. The betrayal cut deep, shaking the very foundation of her career and personal life. Everything she thought she knew about her relationship with Diddy was called into question. Had it all been a lie? How much of her success was truly her own, and how much was simply part of Diddy's grand design? As Mary grappled with these painful realizations, Diddy's true colors began to show. Desperate to maintain his iron grip on her career, he resorted to threats and intimidation. Mary found herself living in fear, constantly looking over her shoulder as Diddy warned that he would ruin her career and her life if she dared to leave him. But something had changed within Mary. The revelation of Diddy's betrayal had awakened a fierce determination to reclaim her life and career. Despite the fear that gripped her, Mary made the courageous decision to break free from Diddy's toxic influence. It was a decision that would test her resolve and challenge everything she thought she knew about herself and the music industry. Mary's journey to independence was far from easy. She took bold steps to restructure her professional life, hiring new lawyers, managers, and producers. Each move was a statement of intent, a declaration that she would no longer be controlled or manipulated by anyone, least of all Diddy. As news of Mary's break from Diddy spread, the music industry watched with bated breath. Many wondered if the queen of hip-hop soul could survive without the man who had been instrumental in shaping her career. But Mary was determined to prove them all wrong. She sought spiritual and therapeutic healing, using her pain as fuel for her art and her personal growth. Mary's story resonated far beyond her own experience, sparking a broader conversation about power dynamics in the music industry. Her bravery in speaking out against exploitation inspired others to come forward with their own stories, shining a light on the dark corners of an industry that too often prioritized profit over the well-being of its artists. They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. For Mary J. Blige, this wasn't just a saying, it was a blueprint for reinvention. As she emerged from the shadows of Diddy's control, Mary was about to prove that her greatest successes were yet to come, but at what cost? In 2001, Mary J. Blige released an album that would redefine her career and send shockwaves through the music industry. Aptly titled No More Drama, this powerful collection of songs signaled a new era of independence for the queen of hip-hop soul. The album was more than just a musical statement, it was a declaration of Mary's freedom and a testament to her resilience.
Including, by the way, charges as complex as this, and especially when you have so much digital and physical evidence to review. We're talking terabytes of information. So in my mind, significant prison time has to be on the table in a plea deal.
As Mary embarked on this new chapter, the industry held its collective breath. Could she truly succeed without the man who had shaped her career from the beginning? Mary was determined to prove that she was more than capable of standing on her own 2 feet. She began rebuilding her career and personal life on her own terms, surrounding herself with a team that respected her vision and supported her growth. The years that followed saw Mary undergo a remarkable transformation, both artistically and personally. She dove deep into her craft, exploring new sounds and pushing the boundaries of her musical abilities. Her lyrics became even more raw and honest, reflecting her journey of self-discovery and healing. This artistic evolution resonated with fans and critics alike, cementing Mary's place as one of the most respected voices in R&B. Mary's success in the post-Diddy years was nothing short of phenomenal. She racked up an impressive array of accolades, including 9 Grammy Awards. But Mary's talents weren't limited to music alone. She branched out into acting, earning nominations for both Academy Awards and Golden Globe Awards. This diversification of her career proved that Mary's star power extended far beyond the recording studio. As Mary's influence continued to grow, she became an inspiration for a new generation of artists. Her story of overcoming adversity and fighting for creative control resonated with many up-and-coming musicians who were navigating their own challenges in the industry. Mary became a symbol of resilience and empowerment, proving that it was possible to succeed on one's own terms without compromising integrity. Perhaps the most powerful aspect of Mary's legacy is her advocacy for transparency and ethical conduct in the music industry. By sharing her own experiences, she has encouraged other artists to assert their creative control and fight against exploitation. Mary's journey from controlled artist to independent powerhouse has become a blueprint for others seeking to break free from toxic industry dynamics.